So I made a video with Hackers for Justice. They're a volunteer hacking group that help law enforcement get the bad guys. I hope you enjoyed this video. And if you want to support Hackers for Justice, there's a Patreon link in the description below. There's also the website link and the email if you want to get in contact with them.
About a year ago, I decided to found or create, however you want to describe it, Hackers for Justice. And so this is kind of like the outcome of doing free volunteer work with law enforcement to train them about like the dark web, Tor sites, and how to exploit them, what to look for, weaknesses, and things like that.
Mhm.
About a year ago, I realized that I actually had this idea on my mind for a couple of years, to be honest with you. And just a certain set of circumstances came together where I was able to kind of ask the wider community, does anyone else want to get involved with this? Because to be
Mhm.
honest with you, law enforcement are really restricted in terms of their resources. And so, and also from my skill perspective, I really focus just on Tor and like the dark web. And so I don't have really very good OSINT skill, and I'm not really a great programmer, to be honest with you. And so I knew that if we have like a wider group of people, we can assist law enforcement in, multiple ways. And so that's basically what we do. We are a free volunteer organization of people with various skill sets who assist law enforcement with a range of technical issues to help them with cybercrime, essentially. The main kind of focus for us is really just removing evil, really, from the online world. And we do that in multiple different ways. Everything from vulnerability research to free training, consultancy, OSINT, we cover a lot. Yeah.
So how can people get in touch with Hackers for Justice? How can they become a part of it? And how can they
Oh,
contribute to it?
very good questions. So basically, we work like on an invite process. So essentially, if you know someone within the organization, you can say, you want to join, and then they can sort of vouch for you. We go through a vetting process. And then obviously, if everything is cool, then, you can help. And generally, when we run operations, we will say, we're running this operation and we need X, Y, and Z. And then anybody who wants to jump on that operation can go ahead and do that.
Nice. And you talked about vulnerability research. Do you have any
Oh,
examples
yeah.
of like things that you might have been doing for
Oh,
vulnerability
sure.
research for law enforcement?
Oh, sure, sure.
And like, if
So,
anybody wants to jump in and like talk as well about like the times that
sure,
they might have done vulnerability research, like you guys can always
sure.
hop in as well.
No worries at all. So I can give you my example. So last year I was working with someone who works within a DFIR unit, so digital forensics incident response, and they work in child protection. And they very quickly realized that this specific network of people were using a specific communication method, and they wanted to be able to get a specific piece of information from all of those users. Can't go into much more detail than that,
Mhm.
but I actually worked with them doing the testing and setting up the different attacks and this kind of stuff. And within a very short period of time, we were able to do that successfully. So which is really good. I have quite a good background in terms of like I did a lot of bug hunting with Telegram and some other chat apps. So similar things in communication software.
Mhm.
Um, I see similar problems across a broad range of stuff. So that came in pretty handy,
Yeah,
and
the same
got in a good
vulnerability
result.
pops up in like your bug bounty experience and that kind of stuff kind of
Yep,
applies to vulnerability research in different applications. Yeah, yeah, for sure.
exactly. Mhm.
And you guys are
So, but
doing
that's
software. Oh, you can go ahead.
no. I was just going to say. So that was like my experience with vulnerability research, but
Mhm.
the other people that are on the call, they have a lot of experience with like doing OSINT and stuff like that. It could be a good opportunity to speak to them, and they can sort of discuss what they've been doing.
I can pipe up a little bit. So I
Mm.
joined Hackers for Justice right after Sir Haxalot started it. And now I'm in the admin group and whatnot. But we've done a lot of OSINT ops that are very different from each other. So each time you do a new one, you're learning new skills, you're learning new processes. And honestly, for me, that was the hardest part was we didn't really have any processes in the beginning. And throughout the year, we've had to develop systems, and it's really gotten to be much better than it used to be in the beginning. So that's been a huge improvement. But honestly, OSINT's a lot of fun. Now, some cases aren't so fun, honestly, but some cases are a blast. And when you can actually find a target, you just want to go celebrate. So
Yeah, it's that same feeling when you like find a bug in a program or something like that. When you get that target, you get that like that jolt of like ecstasy from it. It's awesome. Yeah, it makes you keep wanting to do more, right?
oh, for sure, for sure. It's very exciting.
Like kind of what Grep was saying there. I'm one of the admins over at H4J, and primarily working as an OSINT analyst. I guess OSINT practitioner, trying to at least. Um, but yeah, I mean, we have gotten to work on multiple cases around the world, really, which has been kind of eye opening. Depending on how you kind of conduct your OSINT investigations. It's not just finding the online profiles or posts or forums. It's also kind of looking at the cultural backgrounds of the countries that maybe you're investigating. The people that are in those countries, and how that might play a part into looking for your targets and their social groups and whatnot. So it's more than just, I guess, the technical part of it. It's also kind of that cultural background too.
Yeah, there's cultures all around the world, and then like you find and you learn things about different cultures and like maybe like habits that form, and then you can use that to track. It's interesting. Like everybody leaves their own type of digital footprint, right? But they all have like similarities.
Right. Yeah. Well, and I think Grep might have a little on this. Is one of the things that was kind of really kind of different for us in terms of our investigation is going through the language barriers that we would have to deal with. Some of these countries are very multi-ethnic, with multiple different languages, so that was something to that we had to kind of work through.
Yeah, that was definitely difficult, but I mean, you figure it out, I guess.
Yeah, it's like an ongoing process too. And like once you,
Mm.
I mean, you don't necessarily have to know the language as long as you can like translate it and figure it out, like piece it together. That's like another puzzle in and of itself, I guess.
Oh, yeah, AI
Yeah,
is really helpful with that stuff.
Yeah.
for sure. Have you guys like introduced AI and stuff into your like
No,
OSINT and your
not
operations?
not not yet, I don't think. Have we, guys?
Can I just jump in briefly? There's two things that I was going to mention, if it's okay, regarding AI.
Mhm.
So the first thing is in my tour course for law enforcement, there's a section about using AI for forensic linguistic analysis. And what I wanted to do is actually speak to a professional in the field. So I contacted a professor of linguistics and interviewed them for my course to get some more background information. And one of the things that they were saying is it's actually very difficult to nail someone's background because they might have been raised in like a multi-ethnic or a multilingual home, but they're living in a different place. So, for example, you might have someone in the US whose father speaks Spanish, so they would also use like Spanish slang. So
Mhm.
it's very hard to sort of like locate someone based purely on the language that they're using. Although it's a good indicator, it's not exact confirmation. And that is a very interesting part. One of the good things about AI, large language models, is that we can use them in that way. But it's you have to take that as a part of a bigger picture, I would say.
Mhm.
The other thing that we have is one of our members, he is developing his own software. This is not for Hackers for Justice, but it's kind of in collaboration with Hackers for Justice. And it's called Sierra, and basically that is going to be importing local language models also for speeding up the discovery of certain information. I can't go into too much detail now because it's not fully developed. It's still kind of in that early development stage, that specific section. But I know that we will be using elements of AI in the future in lieu of body count. I mean, we're a volunteer organization. We don't have unlimited resources. So anything that we can do to speed up efficiency or to improve efficiency, we will do. And so, but obviously the big issue is it real information that we can use or is it hallucinated?
Mhm.
So there has to be we can use it, but with a pinch of salt, you know?
Yeah. I think another thing is like being OPSEC safe and things like that
Yeah.
with when using AI. So like what data you're inputting into the context window, that kind of stuff. Because you could be handling personal information, right? And like you're going to be
Yep.
working with that when you're doing OSINT. And so you have to be careful here and there. Obviously for yourself and like depending on who you're working with, law enforcement and things like that. And so always having like guardrails and stuff like introduced with your own operations, that's super important. I know like for me personally, like I always like want, you know, whatever, like I feel like one of the reasons that I never like joined Hackers for Justice myself was mainly because you want to have certain guardrails and like guarantees and things like that. And it's hard to do when you're like starting something up. But I've seen now that you've like built more of a community and you have more people around you, you have the ability to implement these things to actually protect yourself and protect the people that you're working with. And it becomes easier because you have so many people with different talents to actually implement it, right? So yeah. I think it's a great direction in which you guys are going.
And so we've created playbooks and we've tried to make it as easy as possible for our volunteers to be able to get up and running with a safe system and a safe way of doing things. And, you know, of course, sock puppets and the whole thing. But yeah, we've detailed everything that we're expecting to try to keep everybody safe. So that's a huge part of what we've developed over in the last year.
Yeah, I'd just add to that, you know, a lot of time, a lot of hours have been spent with. I know Grep had a team at one point that was creating a whole playbook for this, and that got disseminated again to other members of H4J that were working on OSINT cases and whatnot. So, yeah, I mean, we probably spent the first 8 months really building out the processes that we use now. So, and we're still doing some of that. We're building out. I would say we've moved from processes now to where we're building out almost frameworks and tools to kind of be more efficient and speed things along, which is pretty cool that we've been able to do that in just a year.
I'm not a victim, but people in my family were victims of SA, so we won't go into that, right? I don't want to trigger anybody, but so that's one of the main reasons why I joined. I let Hacks know. He knows. We talked about that, but that's the main reason is just to go out there and catch as many of these scumbags as possible, bring them to justice because nobody else is going to do it. So that's what our job is, but we do it ethically, right? We work with police, and that's I think the number one thing that people need to understand is I think when they hear hacker, you know, it's a bad connotation. We're trying to kind of alleviate that connotation where it's like, okay, hacker can actually mean something good, and you don't have to come from a vigilante background or anything to to be a part. You just have good work ethic, good morals, and whatnot. But
yeah, for sure.
I've actually got a couple of things that I was going to mention if it's okay. We were talking earlier on about vulnerability research. Unfortunately, the person that dealt with this thing is not on this call, but I'll give you a little bit of a background. So we don't just do software vulnerability research. We actually do hardware vulnerability research also. And one of our group was able to assist, again, a DFIR unit with just for operational security. I can't go into too much detail, but basically accessing information which previously they wouldn't have been able to access, which actually was able to then do something positive for that specific team, case, investigation, however you want to phrase it. So in terms of vulnerability research, it's not just software; it's actually hardware also. That was something that I was going to mention. In terms of Grep was saying about keeping everybody safe, and actually, I that's my number one thing really is to keep everybody safe, not just from a physical perspective, but we also have mental health, kind of like no, I won't say full playbooks, but we have like documents internally. So the mental health aspect is also very important. Last year, I was working on a CSAM case, and it was awful. And I had really pretty severe PTSD from that, to be honest with you. And it took me about maybe 2.5 months to sort of get over that, to be honest. And that was really really brutal. So that's something that we also take into account. And then the other thing that I was going to mention as well is Yasha mentioned it briefly. He was saying that one of his relatives actually was a victim of sexual assault. One of the things that has surprised me is the healing aspect of actually being a part of the team. So we have many people within Hackers for Justice who have either been victims or survivors or relatives or whatever, and it's given them actually like some closure or some healing, which is what they've told me. And that was an aspect which I just had no idea would come into play at all. So I feel like we're doing good for the people that actually volunteer, but also, for the cases that we work on and the victims and survivors, we're doing good for them too. So I feel like there's benefits on all sides.
Yeah, because it's like an outlet, right, for frustrations that people might be feeling, whether they're a victim or they know people who are victims. And a lot of times people don't get that voice or that opportunity to give back or try and do something about it, right? And so that is a big part of what's going on at Hackers for Justice. I appreciate that as well. Yeah.
So no, it's just a great. For me, it was really good to hear, because in the beginning, to be honest with you, it was like I had this idea and I was like, I really want to do this thing. And I was like, right, well, I need to sort of assemble like Avengers, right? It's like Avengers assemble. So we need to bring in more people. And then it was like, right, we've got this group of people. Now what the fuck do we do? So it's just kind of like, right, we have to organize ourselves. Okay. And then like Attacker was saying, it's just, okay, let's get the herd of cats together and let's just try to figure out who's going to do what, and then the processes involved and building out those things. And now we're getting to a point where, like Attacker was saying, we're actually building our own tools now, and frameworks and stuff, which is like, honestly, like within a year, I just think that's a real success. That's a really good outcome. We also would like to sort of not appeal to the wider community, but if you are in the hacking community and you're interested in kind of getting involved, also feel free to email us and give us kind of like your background and if you want to get interested, because we do have a case at the moment that's like thousands of suspects. So if you're into OSINT, it would be great to have you on board. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd just chime in on that. One of the great things about Hackers for Justice that I've found is just the amount of different expertise that has been brought into the group. We have former military with all sorts of different backgrounds, from intelligence to what Yaucha has done. We have backgrounds with law enforcement, either their current or prior law enforcement, who will give their own opinions on things, or technical expertise, which is really great. And of course, we have people who have been in the cybersec community, network engineering, a lot of developers and coders and whatnot. And I mean, so anyone who we have a broad set of skills here, and we can always use more. And even if you think, oh well, my skills don't align, I would question that to a degree, because even like data scientists, data analysts, we could even use that, especially when we're dealing with these large databases that we've been coming across in recent months. So if you're interested, please, feel free to reach out.
I just want to piggyback off of what Otaku said as well. It's a great place. It's a family. There's no egos here. There's nothing. I ask a million questions and I get a million answers, but none of them are like egotistical, right? So it's a big Hackers are Justice. We're a family. There's no yeah, it doesn't matter. Everybody's an equal here. Doesn't matter if you've been doing IT or cybersecurity, or you're a cybersecurity enthusiast, or you just like, I don't know, saw the movie Hackers or Mr. Robot and want to get into something, ethical, and doing the good thing. But that's the best thing I get about it. I'm very shy. I don't have a lot of experience yet. I have a lot of book experience. I don't have a lot of technical experience, but it doesn't matter as long as you're willing to leave your ego at the door. There's no ego. Work in a team. It's a big family, and that's the best part about Hackers for Justice for all the new guys. It's just a big family. Everybody's um, pinging ideas off of each other for anything. If you need to learn a tool, at the last second and you don't know any and you don't know how to use it, or let's say, I don't know, there's nothing on YouTube, which is never happened, but let's just say, I mean, like Otaku said, there's a bunch of people from all different walks of life. Somebody's gonna know the answer to what you're asking, or will be able to get that answer. But that's the best thing I find with Hackers for Justice. It's a big family. It's a big family.
I'd like to piggyback off of that. So yeah, absolutely. We are definitely a family. I really love the people that we're working with. But something I want to point out is in our group, there's so many different things that we do that if you are sensitive to those types of cases, you don't have to work on CSAM or trafficking. You can work the fraud cases or the technical cases, or you can just do admin in the background where you don't have to be a part of the technicalities of triggering type of cases and whatnot. So I wouldn't want that to hold somebody back to help, because we are very, very careful about people's mental health and triggers. And we make sure that if you don't feel that you're capable of working on that type of thing, we would never put you in that position.
Another thing that Hacks wants to do in the future, to piggyback on the therapy that I know, well, the group wants to do, not just one person, but the group. Something that we want to be able to do in the future is be able to provide some kind of financial, to somebody if they need to get like therapy. I know we're not there yet, but I know that's like something that it's like a goal that that we would like to do at some point in the future as well. And that's another great aspect because, okay, yeah, you've seen a lot of crazy stuff. You need therapy, cool, we got you. Like that's, we're trying to equal that out. But that, yeah, it's not something we do now, but that's like a goal that we want to do in the future.
There's a few things that have, if you don't mind, I'd like to jump in at that point. There's a couple of things that are very important to me as like the founder, right? And the first is that I really believe in education, and I really would love to get to a point where we can provide education for anyone that works within our organization, and any education that it is that they want to do. So, for example, if they want to do, I don't know, a year of Hack the Box or whatever, we can say that's fine. We'll cover that. Or let's say they want to do a degree, like an online degree or something, and we can be like, yeah, sure, we can pay for that. Education is really important to me, and I would love to be able to provide that. Following on from that, I really want to be able to provide hardware for the people and software that the software has been developed, but the hardware is something I'd love to be able to provide as well. And then, as Yaucha was saying, I would love to provide mental health resources to victims and survivors. If you look on our website, it says that we're a victim first organization. That's very true. So we're trying to stop whatever's happening from happening, but then also, if we can, assist with the aftermath as well, and justice is about restoration, and so I would like to be a part of that also, to because especially in Western countries or maybe in developing countries, mental health care is either inaccessible or it's very expensive, and that is something that I would really like to do down the line. It's I can see us turning into like a non-profit or something like that, and then be able to do that. It's for me, it's important that we give back in sort of any way that we can for the people that have been through things that they shouldn't have been through.
Yeah. And I think like there isn't many people in the community who are actually trying to give back in this way, and people don't they don't truly appreciate the like mental impact that events like these, like traumatic events, have, and not everybody has the resources or the people to talk to.
Right.
And so having a community that supports that and supports your technical skills and that kind of stuff, I think is a really important niche that needs to be respected.
Thank you, dude.
Yeah.
I mean, to be honest with you, the other thing that's really important when I talk about education, it's also education for law enforcement. Not I don't mean this in a condescending way. I mean it in the sense that people within our community have technical skills that they don't. And one of the problems that they have when they're working on cases is that there's usually a pipeline. So you might have like a small team that's working on a case, but then they don't have the technical expertise to pursue that. They have to then request assistance from another group or another unit, which is bogged down with 3 months or 6 months of deadlines or whatever.
Mhm.
So one of the things that I'm doing as well is I was mentioning earlier that I'm putting out my Tor course soon. It's just been reviewed. I'm going to provide that for free for one member of any law enforcement unit that deals with CSAM. So because I think it's really important to get those techniques and that information into the right hands. I can't make it a public course. I've been asked not to actually by law enforcement because we don't want threat actors to basically target that resource, learn, and then adapt. So it's but I do believe in education from every standpoint, not just within the organization but outside also. I'm going to be at some point running an event which is going to be just hacking onion sites. So I'll create my own onion sites and then basically get a group of law enforcement together, give them some free training, and get them on that. Because I think, to be honest with you, when you look at these networks and how they operate, they're not massively technical. They rely on Tor, they rely on the security that are built into various apps and stuff like that, and they don't realize that they're actually skating on very thin ice. I mean, one of the things I was saying to a member of the team last week was that I want our group to be feared by these people, and I don't mean that just from a perception point of view. Like, I mean it from a real. They really know that they're fucking with the wrong people, because we do have a skill set that they can't imagine, and the way that I explained it was, imagine this, like, let's say you're running an onion site or whatever, and you might have a couple of admins. Who's gonna win in that engagement? You, or like a group of ethical hackers that are absolutely committed to shutting you down? It's not really a contest. So that's what I want, really, is to be respected by the good guys, feared by the bad guys.
Yeah, and to add to that too, I think what Hacks is saying to a certain degree is demystifying some of the technology and tools that
Mm,
that are kind of used by these people in these different groups, right? So, for
mm,
instance, like the Tor network, it's not like I think people will say dark web, and they have a
mm,
certain perception, right, of what
mm,
that is. Like it's some
mm,
mystical thing that only certain people go to. But in reality, anyone can go download a Tor browser, and
mm,
it's just a browser. Yeah, I mean, it operates like Firefox, Chrome, or any other browser.
mm,
You're just able to access other things in a different way. So I think providing some technical guidance, whether it's to law enforcement or investigators in general,
mm.
and like I said, demystifying this so they have maybe a clearer understanding of what they're going into is something else that I see is not maybe not our mission, but definitely within our realm to be able to do.
100%. Yeah, without a doubt. I mean, I get quite a lot of requests by law enforcement just for consultancy, like volunteer consultancy, about they might be working on a case that involves an onion site, and I'll give them, 4, 5, 6, 7 different attacks that they can run very quickly and effectively. And the people that are running these sites that really probably don't understand the technology that they're using to a fairly large degree, and because you see the same things over and over and over again, and you kind of realize, yeah, then they're not on the winning team. You know, bad news for them, good news for us, basically.
Is there anything else anyone would like to add in before we wrap up?
You know, I want to add just one thing, and then anyone can say anything if that's okay. I just want to say, thank you to everyone who's got involved. Thank you to everyone who supported us. Thank you for everyone, yourself also, Schlop, for giving us a little bit of your time. And it's been a really amazing journey, and I'm really looking forward to seeing where it goes.
Yeah, I remember when you first got it, like you got the
Mm,
request. It was
mm,
really, I know it really brightened your mood, and it really made a positive impact in your life, and it
yeah,
changed you. So, and I think it changed
yeah.
you for the better. So, yeah.
Thank you, dude. Appreciate that. Thank you.
I just want to say thank you for Hacks for giving us this opportunity to, this is what I got cybersecurity for. So thank you for giving the opportunity for us to do this. Thank you for the whole everybody in the team. Because I don't have a family, so this is my family. So I just want to say thank you to all you guys. There's nothing but love and respect.
I would say we've covered a lot of stuff regarding the CSAM and whatnot, but I also think we should add, we have worked on other cases that are not related to that particular material and whatnot. So if that is something that's kind of putting you off from reaching out or whatever, that isn't the sole thing that we work on. And I think that's important to note. And like oh man, I got tripped up.
I mean, OSINT is required for everything, man. Like at the end of the day, like you're providing consultancy for law enforcement on various types of cases, right? I think people have to understand that it's not just one thing; it's a lot of things, and they need support in every way they can, right?
Yeah, and one of the big things that I think we've gotten to do is like going through social media sites or social media accounts. I mean, probably on one case that we did, I mean, 100 probably, maybe not quite 100, with all the different Instagrams, Facebooks, TikTok accounts, and going through just all the material that we had to go through and trying to link people together, and not just link people together today, but also to link people together in the past as well, and make those connections, that eventually we were able to kind of track and see where everyone was at different points in time, as well as different places they worked in businesses and whatnot, and trying to figure out that structure. So yeah, that was an interesting little thing that we got to work on there.
That was my favorite case. That was a lot of fun to do all that.
Yeah,
that was my first case. That was so much fun.
Oh, that's right.
A lot of learning too.
Oh yeah, for sure.
Oh yeah, well, I was just going to say, that was one of those things, kind of going back to trying to understand different cultural norms. We were dealing with a lot of different ethnic groups, that kind of made things difficult. A lot of different languages. At one point, I think there were at least 3 or 4 different languages that we were trying to sift through, to translate, and have an understanding on. Um, and luckily too, we had enough members on that particular team that had a pretty diverse background, that were able to give keen insight into quite a bit of that, which was pretty interesting to see that come up. And too, we got stuck at a number of different points on that, and our greatest leap forward would be trying to just persist and find that one more account, and that would open up so many more doors for us. So
I was just going to say, actually, something that really surprised me is just the technicality of OSINT. I think when I previously had covered OSINT before, just like the basics, I really didn't see it as kind of like a highly technical field, if I'm being honest, right? But after actually working alongside people doing OSINT, it actually blows me away at how technical it can be. So it's given me a far deeper respect for that side of the community. I mean, some of the stuff that they've done is incredible. I mean, I wish I could tell you about it, to be honest with you, but a lot of it surprised me and some of it scared me. So yeah, I'll always be polite. I'll always be polite to everybody. Yeah, but some of it has terrified me. Actually, can I tell you one thing that kind of surprised me in a really interesting way?
Yeah.
Is that okay? So I was on the phone to someone, one of our sort of associates, and he said to me, "Because I know exactly where you are," and I was like, "What?" I was only on the phone to him for like 5 minutes, and he goes, "Yeah, in the background I can hear this specific bird, and that bird is only native to 2 countries. So you're in one of those 2 countries, and like, given your time of day, the time that you woke up, I think it's this one." I was like, "Dude, stop!" Like,
just by the
VPNs
sound of the just by the sound of the bird in the background.
Yeah, and he was like, he'd memorized 100 different bird calls, and I was just like, damn. He's an interesting fellow. He's like an associate rather than a member, but still, yeah. This is the kind of like skill level that we have of the people around us. It's like they just have things that you could never even imagine, and then when you do see it, you're just like, holy shit! Like I'm gonna go live in the forest. You know.
Well, the thing is you will always like people will always bring others up with them, right? And so like you'll go to the
Right.
level at which the people that are around you are at, right? So if the people that
Yeah.
are around you are the best, then you're gonna start thinking in a different way. You're gonna start being better at what you do and how you do it. Your process, your methodology, your brain changes, right? And
Yep.
so
Yep.
that's an important thing to have in a community. And I think
Mhm.
that that's something that you're kind of nurturing at Hackers for Justice, which is nice.
Oh, for sure. Yeah, for sure. Because I was saying earlier on, my OSINT is kind of entry level. Once I've finished this review process for Tor, I've actually got a member of the group who's going to give me like one-on-one OSINT training. And actually in exchange for that, I'm going to give them Tor training. So the community is also very much like that. We teach each other skills and we help each other level up. So that's one of the things that I really love about the group, actually, that you miss as kind of like a vigilante. You don't get that. So it's great to have that in the community.
Mm-hmm. You can only do so much as a single person, right? Or like
Yeah.
just like a small group of people. But when you actually have a community of people that are linked together towards a common goal, and if that goal is something good and like working towards something that is actually bettering other people, then it's going to have a lot more meaning, right? And you're going to have a higher chance of success.
For sure.
Well, I'd just like to say that Hackers for Justice has been one of the most satisfying things I've ever been a part of. And I want to say thanks to Hacks for putting it together and letting me be a part of it. It's been unbelievable.
Yeah.
Thank you.
We're like the Justice League. It's Justice League of America.